Hello and thank you for joining us on the news on NTA International. I am Frama Panyi and my sign language interpreter is Hannah Olayenka. Let's see the headlines. Federal government plans to revitalize nation's silo concession program to reduce post-harvest losses. Electoral Commission in Malawi rebukes parties laying claim to victory in the presidential election before official announcement of results. And U.S. blocks UN call for Gaza ceasefire for sixth time. Now the news in full. The United States has for the sixth time vetoed a draft resolution at the United Nations Security Council that would have demanded an immediate and permanent ceasefire in Gaza and the release of hostages. Kolo Mohammed reports.
U.S. Deputy Middle East Envoy Morgan Otago said the text draft did not go far enough in condemning Hamas or recognize Israel's right to defend itself. All 14 other members of the Security Council voted in favor of the draft resolution, which described the humanitarian situation in Gaza as catastrophic and called on Israel to lift all aid restrictions. It comes as UN's humanitarian office warned that the last lifelines for civilians are collapsing in Gaza City as Israel expands its military offensive.
The Council instead adopted for performative action designed to draw a veto that extends Hamas terrorists and those who fund them and support them and gives them a lifeline.
An ambassador of the 10 non-permanent members who drafted the resolution apologized to Gaza City.
Not save your children. More than 18,000 of them have been killed by Israel.
After the vote, vetoed by the U.S., UN members reacted to express their disappointment. In another news, U.S. President Donald Trump floats the idea of withdrawing media licenses of a few organizations, citing issues relating to being witch-hunted by reporters. The president made this known after an incident relating to a host of a popular night show.
You have a network and you have evening shows and all they do is hit Trump. That's all they do.
This idea has been floated by the president, and the outcome will be determined in the coming day. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
Guinea's capital filled with activity as campaigning closed Thursday ahead of a referendum that could let the coup leader seek the presidency. Again, let's hear from Kolo Muhammad.
Religious citations, traditional concerts and prayers were held in support of Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, the military leader who took power through a coup in Guinea 3 years ago. Public and private buildings in Conakry were plastered with campaign billboards. Roads were blocked by trucks filled with supporters dressed in designs and colors suggestive of revered candidates. Conspicuously missing is the opposition, as all visible campaign posters and billboards urged people to vote in a single way in favor of one candidate, the military leader. The citizens of the coastal West African city will cast their yes or no ballots on Sunday on the draft constitution, the key step in the transition from military towards civilian rule. No campaign is allowed on Friday and Saturday. The presidential election is expected to hold in December. There are 6.7 million eligible voters in the country, and the referendum requires a voter turnout of 50% to pass. In another news, a British couple said to have been detained for nearly 8 months by the Taliban in Afghanistan have been released. The couple, 80-year-old Peter Reynolds and his wife, 76-year-old Barbie, who have lived in Afghanistan for nearly 2 decades, were held after being stopped on their way home on 1st February. The couple were freed through Qatari mediation after they were transferred from Kabul Central Prison to a larger prison during the final phase of negotiations. The Qatari team of negotiators said Peter and Barbie Reynolds will fly to Qatar for medical checks before traveling to the UK. This breakthrough is said to have been a result of public lobbying by their family for their release. 6 days ago, an American woman who was detained with them and subsequently released told news agencies they were literally dying in prison and that time was running out. Fire Hall, who was let out 2 months into her detention, highlighted that the elder couple's health had deteriorated rapidly while in prison. The couple lived in a long-term home in Afghanistan's Bamiyan province. Kolo Muhammad, NTA News.
The parties of the two main candidates in Malawi's presidential election have declared victory, drawing rebukes from the Electoral Commission, which has yet to announce results. Tuesday's vote is... Deputy Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has emphasized the critical role of Parliament in promoting multilateralism through digital trade. He stated this at the Inter-Parliamentary Union and World Trade Organization's Public Forum in Geneva, Switzerland. Speaking on the role of Parliament in promoting multilateralism and digital trade, Kalu notes that digital trade is a defining governance challenge and approaches towards creating opportunities for youth entrepreneurs. He urges Africa to proactively pursue regional multilateralism through the African Continental Free Trade Area and its protocol on digital trade to achieve a harmonized digital market. Kalu also cited Nigeria's legislative actions, including the Nigeria Data Protection Act of 2023 and the forthcoming National Digital Economy Bill, as examples of Parliament's efforts at legislating the future of digital trade. The federal government of Nigeria has called on international investors to seize the vast opportunities in Nigeria's marine and blue economy, describing the sector as a gateway to Africa's economic transformation. The Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adeboyega Oyetola, made the call in London at the ongoing London International Shipping Week LISW 2025, one of the world's premier maritime gatherings. Speaking at the Africa Maritime and Shipping Assembly held at the headquarters of the International Maritime Organization, IMO, as part of the LISW, Oyetola, represented by the Director General of the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, Dayo Meberiola, urged investors to look beyond short-term gains and embrace the long-term benefits of investing in Nigeria's fast-evolving maritime landscape. Delivering a keynote address on the topic, Navigating Regulatory Seas, Steering Africa's Maritime Governance Towards Seamless Trade, he underlined Nigeria's commitment to regulatory reforms, port modernization, maritime security and sustainable shipping practices as critical pillars that make the country an attractive investment destination. Beyond security and sustainability, Oyetola stressed the urgency of regulatory harmonization across Africa's maritime sector, noting the fragmented regulations and non-tariff barriers undermine the objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Area. The minister also urged the platform to seek support for Nigeria's candidature for election into Category C of the IMO Council for the 2026-2027 biennium, emphasizing that Nigeria's aspiration goes beyond national interest. President Bola Tinubu is once more assuring the family of late Muhammadu Buhari and Nigerians that the spirit of honesty and integrity of the former president will not be stained. The president visited widow of the former president, Aisha Buhari, in Kaduna. State House correspondent Musbawat Wahab reports that the president also attended a wedding ceremony of a son of former Zamfara State Governor, Abdulaziz Yari. Details in our subsequent bulletin. In talking health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has confirmed that there are currently no cases of Ebola virus disease in the country. The clarification follows widespread concerns over reports of suspected cases. Director General of the NCDC, Dr. Jide Idris, confirmed that the 2 individuals earlier flagged as suspected cases have tested negative for the virus. He called on the public to remain calm and avoid spreading unverified information, stressing the need to rely only on updates from credible health authorities.
We have no cases of Ebola in the country. The case was tested negative for Ebola, And today again, they are actually doing the same test on the blood now for Lassa fever or something similar, which we are used to here. So you understand me? But for Ebola, it is negative. We do not have any case of Ebola in the country now. But I must say again that this social media thing can create panic. And this is something again that we would like to discourage, that people again should only listen to information coming from NCDC so that we have a coordinated information line.
While health officials at the Abuja facility where the most recent suspected case was isolated have confirmed a prompt and coordinated response. The NCDC also reiterated that surveillance have been intensified, particularly at border crossings and major points of entry, to ensure early detection and rapid containment of any potential outbreak.
Our team, because they also provided us with PPEs and other consumables that were very, very necessary in managing this patient.
But more importantly, again, I must commend the effort of the private hospital that started and triggered this. But this is the kind of collaboration we expect from Nigerians, because without that, we probably wouldn't have known. So they notified us, and we went into action to do the needful.
Dr. Idris also outlined the common symptoms of Ebola and issued a public health advisory. He urged healthcare workers and the general public to adhere strictly to safety protocols to minimize any risk of exposure. Now, the federal government plans to revitalize the nation's silo concession program to reduce post-harvest losses, enhance food storage systems, and achieve food sovereignty. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, stated that the initiative aims to address Nigeria's staggering $10 billion annual post-harvest losses. Musa Babaliyu reports.
In September 2018, the federal government, through the then Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, concessioned 20 out of the 33 silos complexes to private sector operators. This followed the Federal Executive Council's approval, which is expected to generate revenue worth 6 billion naira annually for 10 years. The concession exercise was carried out under the supervision of the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission. 7 years into the journey, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security observed that out of the 17 silo complexes concessioned to 5 private companies, only 1 is operational. The Minister of Agriculture, Abubakar Kyari, revealed this during a high-level meeting with the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, led by Director General Dr. Jobson Ewalefo.
Tinkering about the issue, performance of some of these concessions, and with a view of seeing how we can enhance them.
He noted that several concessionaires have failed to maintain facilities, with some sites, including those in Ikorodu and Ogoja, suffering from vandalism and collapsed perimeter fences. He also highlighted that many concessionaires have defaulted on payment obligation.
However, we believe that there are loopholes that we can also plug in and make sure that we derive maximum benefit from the assets that we have.
That if somebody gets a concession, you don't have to jubilate, because you have to go and raise money to use it. It's not government contract that is, somebody is paying you. If you don't invest, you cannot generate money from it.
To address these challenges, Kyari said the ministry will collaborate with the ICRC to strengthen oversight, enforce compliance, and ensure only competent operators manage silo facilities. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Welcome back. Nigeria has taken a historic step towards ending energy poverty as President Bola Ahmed Tinubu officially launched the Nigeria Energy Acceleration Program and inaugurated the National Energy Master Plan Implementation Committee with a bold mandate: operationalize a $50 billion National Energy Fund over the next decade to give every Nigerian, no matter their location or income, access to reliable, affordable and clean energy. Justin Bem-Onye reports.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu launched the Nigeria Energy Acceleration Program and inaugurated the National Energy Master Plan Implementation Committee, NEMIC, with a $50 billion target to deliver affordable, reliable and clean energy to every Nigerian. Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Uche Naji, said the master plan is a roadmap to secure Nigeria's energy future, expand the energy mix, and fast-track clean technology adoption in line with global climate goals. The National Energy Fund will attract public and private investment into solar, wind, hydro, and emerging energy projects, creating jobs and driving industrialization.
The National Energy Master Plan is not just a document. It is a comprehensive blueprint that charts Nigeria's course toward a secure, diversified, and sustainable energy future. It outlines clear pathways for strengthening our energy security, expanding the energy mix, accelerating the adoption of clean and efficient technologies, and ensuring that our development agenda aligns with global commitments to sustainable growth and climate action.
The Director General of Energy Commission of Nigeria, Abdullahi Mustafa, described the plan as a solution to high business costs caused by energy shortages, while NEMI co-chair Nuruddin Yakubu called it a game changer for national growth. With government backing and stakeholder support, Nigeria is on course to achieve universal energy access and become a clean energy leader in Africa. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
The Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, has inaugurated its groundbreaking Creative Media Sector Skills Steering Committee, marking a new era in the media industry. This committee aims to identify specific areas where skills shortages are most acute and tap into expertise in the dynamic realm of creative media development and workforce training. Garba Natala tells us more.
On behalf of the Director General, I want to remind you of the importance of this exercise, to really put in our efforts, to be dedicated.
Filled with a sense of purpose, the committee, comprising of seasoned media professionals, academic experts, drawn from the National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, members from the Creative Media Sector Skills Council, the film industry, digital content creators, and technical specialists affirmed their resolve to address critical skills gaps in Nigeria's changing creative industry.
Each time I listen to our colleagues on television, I feel, very, very unhappy the way things are going. And I've been thinking of how can we begin to train our young generations, to get the rudiments of the profession.
Their mandate now is to develop strategic training frameworks, establish skill certification standards, and create pathways for emerging talents to become gainfully employed in the industry. The Renewed Hope initiative comes as Nigeria's creative industry continues to gain international recognition, with Nollywood currently ranking as the world's second largest film industry, and Nigerian music artists achieving widespread global acclaim, having the potential for economic and cultural impact.
The Sector Skills Council is designed to bridge the gap between industry and training providers by first identifying occupational standards and competencies required in the creative media sector.
You are tasked with overseeing the implementation of training programs that are in line with global best practices and meet the specific needs of our local industry.
To translate vision into action, this approach aims to engage international partners for knowledge transfer in areas such as digital storytelling, film production techniques, and multimedia journalism. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
Talking transport now, the Nigerian Railway Corporation has signed a memorandum of understanding with Ajaokuta Steel Company, marking a significant partnership in the drive to transform the railway sector. Correspondent Ladibala reports that this collaboration is part of the federal government's renewed efforts to attract investment and partnerships in the sector. The MOU, signed on the sidelines of the recent International Railway Conference, aims to leverage Ajaokuta Steel Company's expertise in producing steel and other materials for the railway sector.
Each other's advantage to put up a system that will save money, technical exchange, and in return, the Ajaokuta Steel Company will be given the opportunity in a business terms level to produce some of our spares for us.
In Ajaokuta, this is an historic thing for us. It brings back the popular revitalization process of Ajaokuta. I mean, it's for Nigerians to now believe that Ajaokuta is working, as promised by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. This process involves working with the railway for the profiling of some of their equipment and also manufacturing some of the parts that they will be using in railway.
The agreement spans 5 years and is renewable, underscoring the potential for long-term collaboration. Training and recertification of fuel tankers driver are practical ways to curtail crashes on the road. This was the focus of engagement between the Committee on Driver Retraining and Road Safety and the Ministry of Transportation. Correspondent Ladi Bala reports.
Accidents involving fuel tankers and articulated vehicles are becoming frequent on Nigerian roads, resulting in loss of lives and property. The socio-economic impact of these incidents is devastating. To address this challenge, the National Assembly directed the training and recertification of fuel tanker and articulated vehicle drivers nationwide. Subsequently, a committee was constituted by the Ministry of Transportation. 6 months after the directive and concern over the increase in crashes, the committee is now on a fact-finding mission to investigate the delayed implementation and calling for urgent action.
It is not enough to have bus terminals, to have effective transportation, but we also need to complement it with safe drivers on the road.
The Minister of Transportation, represented by the Director overseeing the Office of the Permanent Secretary, attributes the delay to lack of budgetary allocations.
That you need large funds to carry out this training. That was not envisaged in the budget of the ministry. Be that as it may, the Honourable Minister is looking for other ways around it to ensure that the training takes place.
However, the ministry reiterates its commitment to making transport safe for Nigerians. The committee notes that over 80% of fuel tanker and articulated vehicle drivers are not certified. In Abuja, Ladibala, NTA News.
The Rotary Club of Wuse Central has carried out several basic education and literacy projects at the LEA Junior Secondary School, Wuse Zone 2, Abuja. Francis Udojo reports that the initiative is in solidarity with the 2025 International Literacy Day celebration.
Celebration fills the air as students of Junior Secondary School, Wuse Zone 2 were greeted with gifts of 150 school bags donated by members of the Rotary Club of Wuse Central. The club equally donated 100 desks and gave scholarships to deserving students as encouragement to pursue their dreams.
A very small seat, you see 4 students, 5 students sitting in one seat. But now, thank God for Rotary Club for doing this great job for us.
Everywhere, cobwebs everywhere. But now we came back to a conducive environment for learning.
The gesture is in line with International Literacy Day, an annual event celebrated in the month of September.
Government have done their part, taking education to the grassroots. So we urge other organizations to join hands with government to make literacy a future part of our children.
Literacy Day, initiated by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, has a theme for this year as promoting literacy in the digital era. The main thrust for the observance of ILD is to mobilize public opinion in favor of struggle against literacy for individual and national development. To step down this initiative, Rotary Club of Wuse Central also decided to renovate blocks of classrooms at the LEA Junior Secondary School in Wuse Zone 2. Plans, the Rotary Club's president says, are in top gear towards providing digital learning aids for the school.
They all feel very comfortable. I'm very certain that this is going to really affect them psychologically in a very long time. And I'm super proud of what Rotary Club of Wuse Central has done here today.
Your efforts have given our students
a better environment to learn. And this will go a long way in enhancing academic excellence.
Projects of this nature is usually factored into Rotary yearly budget to provide services to humanity. Francis Udojo, NT News.
And that's where we end the news. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I am Frama Panyi, and my sign language interpreter is Hannah Olainka.